Neely Gracey, and I am an elite runner, a coach, a mom of 3. I'm currently 4 months postpartum, coming back to running and enjoying the process of rebuilding fitness and training with an eye on the 2028 Olympic trials. I have qualified for 4 Olympic trials, so my hope is to make it a 5th. How I got into running is kind of a simple story because my dad was a pro athlete and I was just born into a family of runners. But I personally didn't start like setting goals and committing to training until 8th grade. So 8th grade is really when I decided, okay, I want to see what I'm capable of doing. And then the thing with running is you kind of just keep setting the next goal and then you achieve it and you set the next goal, and 23 years later, here we are. I ended up running my lifetime PR after having 2 kids off of 1 workout a week. I would say that with kind of this return to running and having had the last year plus away from racing and training and being competitive, it really reignites that excitement and fire in me to get pumped about setting goals again. Yeah, so I have 3 boys, 7, 4, and 4 months, and with each pregnancy and postpartum, they've all been different, which is almost, at first it was really frustrating because I was I wish there was just a rule book that I could follow, where it's okay, you do this and you get this result. But as we know, that's not a thing. We're all, unique individuals with different circumstances, and then each pregnancy and recovery has been so different. Each one I've learned more, and I feel like it has helped with my perspective so much when it comes to running. And one of my favorite things about postpartum running is just that true ability to start over, start fresh, start at the beginning, and rebuild yourself stronger than you were before. My first time around, that felt really stressful and overwhelming, and I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't know if it would even happen because I felt so far off of my normal self. But then after my second, I ended up running a lifetime PR in the marathon when he was 18 months old, and it made me realize oh wow, this is actually possible because of having that downtime that I took whenever I had the kids. So I'm excited to see what's possible this time around too. And so this is kind of a fun place for me to be because I get to do that now. I get to think about, okay, how am I gonna get from where I am today, running 30 to 40 miles a week easy in this postpartum rebuild, to qualifying for my 5th Olympic trials. And what's that gonna look like? So it's kind of a fresh start, an ability to okay, what worked, what didn't work, what do I want to change, what do I want to keep, and when do I start implementing this training? And for me, I really am taking these first 6 months really chill. But after that, I'm looking forward to kind of testing myself in some shorter races. So I love doing the local events. I've done the Boulder every year since we moved here. So that's always on my list. I'm going to do just some fun, more chill races over the summer. And for me, not having to travel in this phase when I'm just rebuilding is really helpful. I don't want to pay big money to travel and take my whole family to somewhere for me to, run a subpar effort. I just like to keep it fun. I really focus on growth. So I like reset my watch. And so every like long run, every like little time I do a workout, it's like longest run ever, fastest mile ever. And so instead of comparing myself to who I was before I got pregnant, I can compare myself to who I was the day I started back on this postpartum run journey. And that is like really important, celebrating all those little milestones, that first double-digit run, the first time I do a workout, the first time I, get back in the gym and can do 30 minutes of lifting without getting so sore. Those are all like really monumental stepping stones towards these goals. In general, some overall things that I find to be helpful in my 3 experiences of coming back to running postpartum is to really rest after you have a baby. Like really rest. So being okay, accepting help, asking for support, taking naps, which I am not a nap person. I ran 100-mile weeks and I never napped. But when he was born, I napped with the exception of 2 days, every single day throughout the entire first month. And I just let my body rest and recover. Yeah, so right now they say 6 to 12 weeks is the recovery period before you should begin running. It all depends on, the level of trauma that your body went through during birth and how your recovery is going. So for me, I was fortunate this go around that I passed all of my PT tests at the 6-week mark and was able to start with a run walk at 6 weeks postpartum. But typically what, as a coach, I suggest people do is work up to a 90-minute walk, be able, and like a brisk walk, like work in it type of walk, not just a shuffling along walk. So I use a protocol that PTs suggest and recommend for a functional test to see if you're ready to resume running. After that, I find that it is best to reduce impact as much as possible. One of the things that I'll start on is I'll do, run a minute, walk 2 minutes, run a minute, walk 2 minutes. And on that run part, if you can do it on a slight uphill, that reduces some of that impact on the pelvic floor. So that can be, a safer intro back into running. Another thing you can do is utilize the treadmill a little bit softer. You can utilize the lever runner because getting a little bit of that lifted support obviously will help take some of the stress and the pressure off of your bone structure as you work back into it. But it also can help you kind of find that rhythm of running again, since it's been a while since you've run. And it can feel good to be a little bit lighter and a little bit more fluid in your stride as you're easing back in. Other ways that I like to reduce impact is pushing a stroller, because when you're running with a stroller, you naturally run slower. The slower you run, the less impact there is. So those are kind of my tips postpartum that I have utilized and that I suggest for my athletes who are also returning after baby. Coming back after having a baby, I've utilized the lever runner with my last 2. It didn't exist with the first one, unfortunately, or maybe I wouldn't have ended up with the injury to begin with. But one of the things that I love using the lever for is being able to find my pace again. Having that little lift allows for me to see some of those more familiar pace markers that I haven't hit in a while. And so that emotionally feels really good. Physically, it allows my legs to remember that turnover and that stride of running at that faster pace, but it keeps my body safer. And the more selfish, I guess, boost is that I can get in more miles, because if the baby's napping and I have 45 minutes, I can run 10-minute pace and get in 4.5 miles, or I can run 7-minute pace and get in 6 miles and feel really good about myself. Yeah, I like to use the lever for introducing workouts postpartum, and I typically start with, I find that I like to run around 80%, is kind of like that happy spot where it's not too much that I feel like I'm not doing anything, but it takes off enough that I can still get in a really good session without the pounding. So, for example, one of my favorite workouts to do on the lever is alternating 400s. So I'll do like 20 times 400, but I'll do one at 10K pace and one at steady state pace, alternating back and forth. So you never get a break. Your break is that steady state float, which is about 20 seconds slower than marathon pace. Female athletes are strong, are capable. Having a baby doesn't end your career. Yes, you absolutely, if you want a baby, you should take the time, pause, go have a baby, and then come back when you're ready. But the hard part is, how long is it gonna be? And what is, quote, gonna be missed during that time? But I think that's also a very zoomed in perspective. And if you're able to step back and zoom out a little bit, you can see that we're very fortunate. We have a sport that is year round, and there are always gonna be races. There's always gonna be big races. There's always gonna be ability to set goals and chase opportunity. And so, while a year or 2 years feels like, oh my gosh, that's a long time to miss out, people aren't having 4-year careers anymore. People are having very long careers, and that's just a tiny little moment in your career. And at the end of the day, it can make you stronger, it can make you faster, it can make you better, because it changes your perspective. And it also, a lot of us have been going for a long time, and having a little bit of downtime can actually be a really positive thing.